Always tell everything that's going on right up front, because if you tell everything that's going on right up front, then your enemy knows exactly what you're doing.
I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
Our own government working against us. I mean, we have been having the government working against us. We just didn't know. Heck, I fixed the refinery tonight. Yeah, Biden will have your job for sure. Good evening, everybody. This is AprilLaJune. And some of you are going, I thought you were going to broadcast on your Freedom Workshop channel. I was going to broadcast over there, but again, YouTube changed the rules. So even though I have enough subscribers to go live, now as soon as you want to go live, they make you do a 24-hour holding period, and then you can go live. So, and then after that, you don't have to do a 24-hour holding period, just the first time. So I'm going to broadcast live over here, and then I'll upload it to the Freedom Workshop channel, which I'm going to show you right now. Let's see, where is that? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is the Freedom Workshop channel. All right. So you guys are going to want to subscribe over here, because every Thursday night at 6 p.m., I'm going to be doing a live broadcast about something that has to do with freedom. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to do, oh, why is it like that? Oh, I see, because yeah, okay, gotcha. All right, there we go. Because it's going to pertain to something that has to do with freedom. It's not going to be necessarily secured party creditor. However, it will pertain to both secured party creditor and just your life in general. So that opens up a lot more doors, because there's more to being free than just being a secured party creditor. There's also lifestyle stuff and things that you need to know, whether it has to do with banking or whatever, because most of the society is not a secured party creditor. Most of society are just regular people. And I'm kind of hoping that the regular people will step up so that you don't have to be a secured party creditor. So I'd really kind of like to enable them as much as I possibly can. But in order to do that, I don't really want to take up the time for the daily events on the other show, which is my regular channel that has to do with news and current events. So you guys have been asking me for years and years and years to do this particular channel. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you want to go over there and subscribe, it's Freedom Workshop America is the actual thing. YouTube.com / and then for some reason they're doing the @ Freedom Workshop America to join over there. So next Thursday, I'm going to do another live thing, and it will be over there on this Freedom Workshop channel. I am going to delete, because my regular YouTube channel, I don't want to give them any opportunities whatsoever to use my content on my regular channel to, one, delete me, or I don't know. I don't know what you want to call it, but I don't want to give them any opportunities to make money on my stuff without me making money. That's just wrong. So, sorry, allergies are crazy today. I'm not going to allow that. I'm not going to leave my stuff on there. I'm just not going to do it. So if you want to see the rebroadcast or send this to someone else, you're going to want to do it on this channel. And then, of course, this is my regular website, which is AprilLaJune.com, and you can become part of the Patriot Club. And some of these things, when we do in-depth stuff, are going to be over here in the Patriot Shop. And also, if you become a member of my channel, whatever channels, you're going to get, it doesn't matter whether you're a Freedom Workshop channel or you're this channel or whatever you're subscribed to. If you become a member over here at Coffee, you're going to get one of the classes. If you go to the $50 a month Patriot Warrior membership, you're going to get a discount on those classes. I mean, well, I should say you're going to get one class for free because that goes with it. And then you're going to get a discount on the rest of the stuff. And then if you're in the Hero Patriot membership, you can choose 2 classes per month. And the reason why those are the best value is because my classes are $150 to $250, usually around in that range, somewhere like that. So that's probably your best value. But you can still support me on these other levels because that helps with the newsletter and me being able to give you information and do all kinds of stuff that I can't do without your support since I'm not monetized. New flat plan, I'll show you to find it there. Are you talking about the Your News? I'm not sure how to find me there either. I'll have to show you how when I find out how, but there's a bunch of podcasters over. Thanks, Janie. Thank you for subbing over there. Stephanie Roundtree is in the room. Woohoo. And so is Jeannie Hollow and Cult Slave Master 007. That's quite the moniker there. Jerry Dayton, there is none so blind as those who are woke. If you are woke, do everyone a favor and go back to sleep. You guys are funny. Stars in the room, Freebird too. Again, didn't show me you were live. It didn't show you that I was live. Yeah, that's not good. Who else is in here? Let's see. I got people over there on Rumble also, and people on Clout Hub and everything else. So I just want to welcome everybody to this evening broadcast. Rumble is sort of free speech. They don't monetize everything. Now, see on this new one, which is yournews.com. Hey, Arizona chick. Nice to see you. I'm not censored over there. And every single one of my posts is monetized. That's not the same thing as Rumble. So I'm literally leaning towards just broadcasting on everything but YouTube. I'm going to try to figure that out later. Now, next week, I'm going to start broadcasting in the evening on my regular channel all the time. Okay. So I'm going to put that in the newsletter when I send it out. Just says upcoming when I hit for notification in your live. Oh, that's interesting. Amy said, funny, my California evidence code handbook is twice the size as Missouri. That's probably true. Look at this. So this is the Missouri handbook on evidence. All right. The Missouri evidence handbook. That's what she's talking about. So this is for Missouri. Every state has one. And then there's the federal rules of civil procedure. Okay. See how thin that is? And I got my Federal Rules of Evidence somewhere. Where did I put that? Well, anyway, it's about the same. So, yeah, that's what she's talking about. Now, today, what I want to talk to you about is something that's kind of important. That has to do with your signatures. Now, I know some of you are like, well, that's really boring. Well, I kind of sometimes think this stuff is boring too. But then you learn it and you go, are you seriously kidding me? Okay, so before we get into a whole lot on it, I want to show you something that you might not know what the code is. It's UCC 3-402, which has to do with signatures. Now, the UCC, there's only 9 actual overall codes. But underneath those codes is a whole bunch of stuff. This happens to be 3-402, which has to do with signature by representative, which is all of us. Okay. Now, why I'm saying that we're doing this stuff blindly, we're being tricked into signing stuff that we don't know that we're signing. Okay. I want to show you something so you can keep this in mind while we're going over that code, because I think it's kind of important for you to know. So let me stop. I want to stop that screen. I want to show you this one. Every time you do something else, it's like another thing. So hold on, just because I want to show you what I've got right here. Let's see. It has to do with your signatures. Yeah, I had it up here and now it's not up here, of course. Isn't that the way it always happens? Absolutely. So let's go with this one. I want to turn this around for you. All right, here we go. There we go. All right, look. Okay, this is the signature portion of a check. So you know how you have a check and you're signing the bottom of it, you know, like your signature line and all that stuff. It actually says something on there. It's not just a line. Like a lot of you think it's a line. Now, I know there's a lot of people in here who've done the Freedom Workshops before, and you know that's not just a line. It actually says authorized signature, authorized representative. Sometimes it says authorized representative, authorized signature, like, you know, like the whole line. But the line actually has something on it. And I think what's been happening here is we don't look at those signature lines and we just kind of sign stuff and we don't even know what it says. Okay? That's stupid. That's really dumb to do that. There's also, if you look at your Social Security card. Now, I was going to show you, I wonder if I took a picture of mine, because I can show it to you. I don't think I did. Look at your Social Security card, okay? The Social Security card also is the same thing. It says under there, Social Security Administration on that line. It's not just a line. It actually says Social Security Administration. So it's like, okay, so you're signing as the authorized signator on your Social Security card, and the line actually says something. So we just look at it as a line. I mean, even when you go, okay, let me show you something. Even when you go and you're going to look up something on Google, let's say, let me bring this up for you because I want you to see something that is ridiculous. All right. This is how much they hide stuff from you. And it really makes me mad. So I'm going to bring up a screen. I want to show you this just from a raw screen so that you can see I'm not trying to trick you or anything. I'm not doing anything. Okay. Like, here's the signing line on checks. All right. So you go to images and you look, and it doesn't have anything on here that tells you that it's now. If you know it's there, you're going to see it's there. Okay. So, because I can see right here that it's broken up. So that tells me that it's writing. But see, When you look at these, it doesn't tell you that. It doesn't show you that stuff. It's just a line. So you don't know what it says underneath there. So they're tricking you by not showing you what it actually means, what it actually says. Every single one of those checks say something on that line. Well, gosh, I didn't know so many people didn't know that. I thought, because I knew this, let's see. I don't know. This is one of the first things that I knew way long ago, in like 7-8 years ago. And I guess I just automatically think that everybody knows stuff, and I didn't. So I thought maybe this was old news to some of you, but apparently it's actual news to a lot of you. So yeah, it is an actual thing that they do, and they do it behind your back because they're trying to get one over on you and you don't know it. So that's a real thing. So when you look over here and you know what's going on, and you have the signature by representative thing under the UCC. Now remember, what? Are you kidding me? Wendy, I thought you knew that. Oh my gosh. I would have went over this a long time ago had I known that you guys didn't know this. Okay, well then it's new for you guys. All right. Well, that's amazing. All right. No wonder you guys were like, no, I want to see the thing about the signature. Okay, well, all right then. Here we go. So now we've got the UCC, and the UCC is where all laws come from the UCC. Okay, so it doesn't matter what the legislators say. It's one of the UCC things is going to apply to that law. And I have the law in quotation marks because I think of them as unlaws. It's a lawless, unlawful, unconstitutional thing, most of the stuff we do. All right. Because this UCC is kind of like a contract. All right. So when you agree to it, this is the stuff you're agreeing to. It's UCC-3 402 or 3-402, signature by representative. If a person acting or purporting to act, that means like you're acting as the thing, or you're going to act as the thing, as a representative, signs an instrument by signing either the name of the represented person or the name of the signer, the represented person is bound by the signature to the same extent the represented person would be bound if the signature were on a simple contract. So an instrument is usually something that has to do with commerce. It's a commercial thing. And if you can read that sentence, it's literally separating contract from instrument. So that indicates in my head something monetary versus a contract which has nothing to do with something monetary in our thought process, even though every single thing is monetary. Okay. If the represented person is bound, the signature of the representative is the authorized signature of the represented person. What does person mean? Person can be a commercial entity or a live human. So that means when you say authorized representative as a secured party creditor, you're talking about the straw man. But you can also, like, for example, if I am a secured party creditor and Overcomer in Christ is right, sign on the dotted line because it's not a line. Yeah, it's actually something else. I am so glad that this is new to you to a point, because I'm glad that I can help you to learn something else. Because I thought, man, this is going to be old news to some. But apparently it's not to most. Okay, so the authorized representative, for example, so Wendy's a secured party creditor, I'm a secured party creditor. All right. when we decide that we're going to have a contract between each other, we're doing it in the private. And so it's not necessarily a commercial contract. It means that she and I have an agreement about something. And we, as the live people, are holding ourselves to that thing that we said we were going to do for each other. Okay? Amy, you got to meet Amy someday. She is funny. Come on, teach. Not all of us are in the know. Hi, Brian. Nice to see you here. So, you know, I really enjoy you guys because you're so funny most of the time. Now, sometimes, of course, we have super serious subjects, and this is a super serious subject, and you do have to know, but there's no reason to light your hair on fire. But you can also rescind some of these signatures if you thought that, see, that's part of the thing with the secured party creditor. We're rescinding all the stuff that we didn't know that we signed because we didn't know that the line actually had something on it. And they're doing these things on purpose to you so that they can trap you into contracts that you don't have any idea that that's what you're doing. Besides the language that's in the contract itself. Okay. So, so let's read this. Is the authorized signature of the represented person is liable on the instrument, whether or not identified in the instrument. For example, if I am I'm the authorized representative for some corporation, but my name is not in it because it's not going to be specifically saying that it's me. Okay. That means that I'm going to sign for it and the other person may or may not be in it. Do you get that? Because everything is about live humans. So for example, let's say Walmart is just a thing. It's not a real thing. It's just a figment of your imagination. So the people who are actually Walmart are the Walmart family, right? Okay. If the Walmart family is identified as a entity called Walmart, the live humans aren't necessarily named in the contract itself, but are liable because they are identified as Walmart. Does this make sense to you? This is the whole thing. Have you asked anyone what it says when they ask you to sign on the dotted line? Dotted line, you got to love it. Well, the reason I don't usually ask these people anything is because they're usually just little puppets of the corporation. Now, if you were talking to the CFO, they should know. But see, the little desk girl, the person who's doing your mortgage stuff, all those people, they don't have any idea. Most of them have no idea. And you could go to the supervisor and they have no idea what's going on. It's compartmentalized knowledge. And if you have compartmentalized knowledge, just like the military, and this guy knows this, 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 but they don't ever come together, then they're not going to compare notes. And besides that, they don't have the knowledge. So you got this little tree of stuff. The CFO knows all this stuff, but all the little people underneath don't know all this stuff. Yeah, the CFOs know this stuff. They know it, but that's not it. Live human trips me. Wouldn't it be live people? No, because person could mean an entity. So it can't be live people in this particular thing unless everybody understands that we're talking about humans that walk around on the earth. And I'm just going to tell you right now, Scott, the thing that I always see whenever I'm doing a live broadcast or something like that is somebody who gets tripped up on words because they don't understand the difference between being in court and being just like you and I talking. Because if I'm talking to you and I say live human, live people, whatever, you're going to understand what I'm saying. But what's going to happen is somebody's going to see my video and it's not true. They're live humans. Even though you and I know we're talking about people. Does that make sense? People get hung up. Live humans get hung up on things that they don't even need to be getting hung up on. It's just dumb. What can you do? I mean, there's really not a whole lot you can do about that. So that signature line, you need to look and see if the signature line actually is something else besides just a line before you sign the thing, whatever it is. Okay. Even your checks, you can still sign as the authorized representative, especially if you're a secured party creditor. You're already signing as the authorized representative. So that little line means something completely different to you. If a representative signs the name of the representative to an instrument and the signature is an authorized signature of the represented person, other than the like if I'm signing for someone else or an entity, the following rules apply. If the form of the signature shows unambiguously that the signature is made on behalf of the represented person who has identified in the instrument, the representative is not liable on the instrument. That means if I'm signing for Walmart, I'm not liable. Walmart is liable. Now, why does this make a difference? And I'll just tell you right now, the Restraint Act, if you read it, really reveals a whole lot of stuff about what I've been telling you for the last 8 years. Okay? It clearly states in there that live humans are the only ones that can go to jail, and that entities cannot go to jail. Therefore, they will only be taking live humans to jail if they break the Restrict Act, which is saying things that the government doesn't like. But they can't take an entity. Why? Because the entity is fictitious. Hello, they're telling you right in the Restrict Act. It's just like, I feel like sometimes people think I'm a conspiracy theorist, but then if you go and you look at the Restrict Act, you can actually see that I'm not a conspiracy theorist, that they're identifying this because what they're trying to do is not only take over the corporations, but also the live humans, the men and women of the United States of America. They clearly make a difference between an entity and a live human because they know they cannot take an entity to jail. So that should tell you that there's a separation. But what can they actually do? Sue them. They can sue the entity. Because remember, when they changed the definition of person, they also were doing it so that they could sue each other. Just like BlackRock, who is Dominion, owns Dominion. They're the biggest investor in Dominion, sued Fox News, where they're also an investor. So now you've got the same investor suing itself. Yeah. They're just trying to trap everybody because they already know how it works and they don't care. It's like two sides of the war where the bank is funding both sides, so they win either way because they don't care. They don't care who wins. It's going to be whatever is going to be most advantageous to the bank to continue with that, whatever they're doing is going to be the side that they're going to be like, yeah, do that, do that, do that. But what it's saying here is I signing for Walmart would not be liable. If they're going to sue something, they're going to sue the entity Walmart for whatever digits they have, and my personal stuff will be outside of that. Okay. Subject to subsection C. If the form of the signatures does not show unambiguously that the signature is made in a representative capacity, or the representative person is not identified on the instrument, the representative is liable on the instrument to a holder in due course that took the instrument without notice that the representative was not intended to be liable on the instrument. So that means if you're signing something for somebody else, but it's not clear that you're doing that, well, you're going to be liable to whoever's holding the instrument. So if I haven't made it clear that this contract is actually for Walmart and I'm pretending like it's for me, but it's really actually for Walmart, I'm still liable with them. I can't make it that I'm not if my representation to the other side is wrong. With respect to any other person, the representative is liable on the instrument unless the representative proves that the original parties did not intend the representative to be liable on the instrument. So that means my boss would have said, no, they're not liable. Yeah. And C here is if a representative signs the name of the representative as a drawer of a check without indication of the representative's status, and the check is payable from an account of the representative person who is identified on the check, the signer is not liable on the check if the signature is an authorized signature of the representative person. That's talking about an actual thing that has like a check, a money order, something like that. Now, do you guys see why you can make an A for B and you put authorized representative on changing it into a money order, making it a negotiable instrument? You're the holder in due course if you're a secured party creditor, and that's why the signature matters. It matters. This is all about signatures. The trustee is supposed to know all that. I've been lied to and tricked my whole life. So now what? After 50 years, I guess you're going to have to do what I did and suck it up and pay attention. Okay. You're going to have to pay attention to what you're signing from this point forward. We just seem to take things for granted because we're told something. This is why I'm telling you, we're always taking things for granted because so-and-so said so. You need to stop trusting so-and-so and look for it yourself. Okay? Because here's another so-and-so said so thing I'm going to show you right now. My allergies, I took an allergy pill before this, and so I should be good to go. Okay, so this is a so-and-so said so. This is actually a real document from Centerpoint Hospital, and I would venture to say it's pretty similar to every hospital that's out there. When they tell you that you need to sign something in order to get treatment when you're in the emergency room or being admitted to the hospital. Usually when somebody's admitted to the hospital, they are in some kind of distressed situation. It's already stressful and they can't really think very well. And here comes the girl. Usually, I don't think I've ever had a guy at the hospital come up to me. But anyway, somebody comes up to you and wants you to sign all these papers, and they say, you got to sign this, got to sign that, whatever. And before it was this big clipboard of stuff, and you just sign it. And because you're like, I don't know, I don't care, just whatever, scribble, get out of my face. Okay. I'll sort it out later. That's normally what happens. Now it's all digital. So now you don't even see the paper. And the girl comes in the room with her iPad, and she starts saying, okay, these are all the papers that you got to sign. If you just sign your signature here, and then she'll swipe up and you sign your signature there, and you just swipe up and you sign your signature there. And the girl gives you a generic song and dance about what's going on. Oh, these are just the, the regular cut papers, right? Isn't that normally what happens? So I'm hoping that you're going to say, yeah, that's normally what happens. If that isn't what happens, then I don't know what hospital you're going to. So this is the normal document. Well, the last time I was there, which was a while ago, she brings me this digital pad, and I said, nope, I'm not. I want the actual paper. I want to read it, because I took the pad from her and I was going to scroll up to read it to see what I was signing, and it wasn't there. And so I said, no, I'm not signing any digital stuff. You're going to have to bring me the real paper. So she was like, oh, okay, fine. So she brings me the paper, and this is the stuff that it said. So it's talking about the patient. It's giving you the definitions of what it's in here. Consent to treatment. I consent to treatment, all this kind of stuff. Treating with telemedicine, like if you had to do something that had to do with a consultation over a screen or something. But here's what really, really made me mad. And remember, this was during COVID, so they're going to be doing this all the time. This is not going to go away. This thing right here is not going to go away. Consent to medication not yet FDA approved and or medication prepared, repackaged by outsourcing or compounding pharmacy. As part of the services provided, you may be treated with a medication that has not received FDA approval. Not saying that FDA approval makes it better, but that even makes it worse. You may also receive a medication that has been prepared or repackaged by an outsourcing facility or compounding pharmacy, which sometimes isn't bad because sometimes they're going to make compounds to make a pill. You know how they put the powder in the pills and whatever. Certain medications for which there are no alternatives or which your physician recommends may be necessary for potentially life-saving treatment. What comes to mind right out of the box when you're signing that paper? Paul is right. They have turned evil. I was in an emergency room with a head injury, and they put that pile of papers for me to sign, and I threw it on the floor. Oh, that's that. Well, Paul's saying, I'm not doing it. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. So Amy's right. The vax, the jibby jabbers, those things that you don't want to take against your will, things that they absolutely did not approve, would never got approval for until they noticed that people weren't doing it. And then they quickly made an approval, and now they've taken it back. Okay. I think this is an extremely important portion of this thing that you're signing, and people were not reading it, and people don't read it because they just trust what the girl is saying or the guy is saying to them, or the furry or whatever is entity they want to pretend that they are today. The non-binary, blue-haired, pink-haired, whatever, coming at you with these financial papers or these consent papers. Okay, so yes, remdesivir also. They're going to just do whatever they want to do. If you sign that, that's number 3. This is number 3. This isn't hidden down in the bottom. This is number 3. Okay, so I think you better start reading what you're signing. Consent to photographs, videotapes, and audio recordings. This is so important, I can't even tell you. And you might think, well, what difference does it make? Well, read it. I consent to photographs, videotapes, digital and audio recordings, and or images of me being recorded for security purposes and or the hospital's quality improvement and or risk management activities. I understand that the facility retains the ownership rights to the images and or recordings. I will be allowed to request access to or copies of the images and or recordings when technologically feasible unless otherwise prohibited by law. I understand that these images, which I don't know why it would be if it's you. I understand that these images and or recordings will be securely stored and protected. Images and or recordings in which I am identified will not be released and or used outside the facility without a specific written authorization from me or my legal representative unless otherwise required by law. Do you know what risk management activities means and security means and hospital quality improvement means? I'm going to show you. That's number 4. I don't even care about the financial agreement at the moment. I'm just looking at this going, are you kidding me? So you're going to tell me that you can use my stuff however you see fit? Okay, so here's the benefits. Assignment of benefits. Patient assigns all of his or her rights and benefits under existing policies of insurance, providing coverage and payment for any and all expenses incurred as a result of services and treatment rendered by the provider, and authorizes direct payment to the provider of any insurance benefits otherwise payable to or on behalf of patient for the hospitalization or for outpatient services. All of his rights and benefits under existing, all. That means if there's a death benefit in that, who's it going to? Patient understands that any payment received from these policies or plans will be applied to the amount that patient or grantor, who's the grantor? The straw man, has agreed to pay for services to the provider for the care and treatment rendering during admissions. I don't know about you, but I don't want to sign all my rights over to anybody, regardless of what it is, because I would have to go through my insurance policy and see if that's even something I would want to do. So all of the rights and all of the benefits of the insurance policy go to the hospital. I hereby irrevocably appoint the provider as my authorized representative to pursue any claims, penalties, and administrative and or legal remedies on my behalf. When have they ever done that on your behalf? I've never heard of them doing that. Against any responsible payer, employer. That means they want to sue the insurance company on your behalf. Or employer-sponsored medical benefit plans, third-party liability carrier. They want all the money they can get. Or any other responsible third-party responsible party for any and all benefits due me for the payment of charges associated with my treatment. So they're going to go after whatever they have to go after to get the money. The assignment, and you just gave them all the rights, all the benefits, all the rights, all the benefits. And they want an irrevocable appointment. This assignment shall not be construed as an obligation of the providers to pursue any such recovery, but they want to be able to do it just in case. I acknowledge and understand I maintain my right of recovery against my insurer health benefit plan, and the foregoing assignment does not divest me of such rights, said the person who just asked me to sign over all my rights in an irrevocable thing. I agree to take all actions necessary to assist the provider in collecting payment from any such responsible parties should the providers elect to collect such payment, including allowing the provider to bring suit against the responsible party in my name. If I receive payment directly from any source for the medical charges associated with my treatment, acknowledged that it is my duty and responsibility to immediately pay any such payments to the providers. But you just told them that you would give them everything, because you gave up all of your benefits. See what Paul's saying? I got up and went to the sink, turned on the faucet, washed out the wound. He sounds like me. And splashed blood water all over, cussing them out the whole time. Well, that part's not. Then held a towel on the wound and walked out. I could not believe it. They're putting papers at me at that time. I know. I can't believe it either. Now, this is just a typical agreement. I'm not telling you anything that's out of the ordinary here. I'm telling you exactly what is normal in most hospitals. And when you read it, you go, no way. I'm not signing that. You shouldn't be signing it. You should be saying no and crossing out all the stuff that you don't want to do, which is what I was going to do, but they never came back. So, whatever. Now look at this. Communications about my health care. I authorize my healthcare information to be disclosed. This is what you're signing. I authorize my healthcare information to be disclosed for purposes of communicating results, findings, and care decisions to my family members and others I designate to be responsible for my care. I will provide these individuals with a password or other verification means specified by the hospital. I agree I may be contacted by the provider or an agent of the provider or an independent physician's office for the purpose of scheduling necessary follow-up visits recommended by the treating physician. So that not only is it your family and stuff, but it's whoever they deem, whoever they choose also in the treatment that you have. Now, look at this. This is even worse. And this is everybody. Release of information. I hereby permit providers to release healthcare information for the purposes of treatment, payment, and healthcare operations. That's pretty broad. Healthcare information regarding a prior admission or admissions at other healthcare affiliated facilities may be made available to subsequent HCA affiliated admitting hospitals to coordinate patient care or for case management purposes. Now, that's pretty broad too, because what does that mean? Healthcare information may be released to any person or entity liable for payment on the patient's behalf in order to verify coverage or payment questions, or for any other purpose related to benefit payment. Healthcare information may also be released to my employer's designee when the services delivered are related to a claim under workers' compensation. Everybody's making money off you, just so you know. If I'm covered by Medicare or Medicaid, I authorize the release of healthcare information to the Social Security Administration or its intermediaries or carriers for payment of a Medicare claim. Now, here's where it's starting to get hairy. Or to the appropriate state agency for payment of a Medicaid claim. This information may include, without limitation, history and physical emergency records, laboratory reports, operative reports, physician progress notes, nurses' notes, consultations, psychological and or psychiatric reports. Are you seeing where it's going here? Drug and alcohol treatment, and discharge summary. Federal and state laws may permit this facility to participate in organizations with other healthcare providers. Who does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean a psychiatrist? Does that mean a psychologist? That has to do with the government? Federal and state laws may permit this facility to participate in organizations with other healthcare providers, insurers, and or other healthcare industry participants. What does that mean? Fauci? What does that mean? And they're subcontractors in order for these individual entities to share my health information with one another to accomplish goals that may include but not be limited to improving the accuracy and increasing the availability of my health records, decreasing the time needed to access my information, so data collection, aggregating and comparing my information for quality improvement purposes. Let's see, how many people are going to come in here? How many people are not going to comply? How many people are going to comply with what we're saying? And how is that going to affect all the other people? How are we going to affect and make it so that this person is going to comply with what we're going to say? Decreasing the time to access the records. I understand that this facility may be a member of one or more such organizations. This consent specifically includes information concerning psychological conditions, psychiatric conditions, intellectual disability conditions, genetic information, chemical dependency conditions, and or infectious disease, including but not limited to bloodborne diseases such as HIV and AIDS. Allison, I love you too. Anybody seeing anything here? HCA means, Mark is saying, HCA, yes, nothing is private anymore. HCA means Healthcare Corporations of America. I quit working for them in 2006. Good for you, Mark. That last part could be students, interns. Well, it could also be somebody who is in the government. Concerning psychological conditions, psychiatric conditions, intellectual disability conditions, genetic information. It can be anybody. Fauci and friends. Acknowledgement. Now remember what I told you? They can keep your photos, keep your images, keep your audio, and then what they will do is they will take that stuff, make a psychological or a psychiatric file on you, and then they can use that to do whatever they want. I think that is pretty clear in there if you start connecting the dots, which they don't want you to do. Dave says, I changed my diet instead. I don't blame you. Now let's look at the authorization here. Acknowledgement. I have been given the opportunity to read and ask questions. See, this is the thing. You're not given the opportunity to read it because this was digital. I had to ask for it. And asking questions would be ridiculous because nobody's going to answer them. They're going to roll their eyes like, you're just a troublemaker. Or we have to have you sign this before we can treat you. And ask questions about the information contained in this form, specifically including but not limited to the financial obligations. They're trying to, here's the shiny object. Here's the shiny object. Forget about the rest. Here's the shiny object. Obligations, provisions, and assignments of benefit provisions. And I acknowledge that I either have no questions or that my questions have been answered to my satisfaction, that I have signed this document freely and without inducement other than the rendition of services by the providers. We're not going to provide you anything until you sign this form. We can't do anything because our legal team wants us to make sure that this form is signed. Acknowledgement of notice of patient rights and responsibilities. Isn't that the way they make you feel? That if you don't sign this, you're not going to get treatment? I have been furnished with a statement of patient rights and responsibilities, which most of the time you're not, ensuring that I am treated with respect and dignity and without discrimination and distinction based on age, gender, disability, race, color, ancestry, citizenship, religion, pregnancy, sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression. Sexual orientation, what does that mean? Does that mean guys acting like girls and girls acting like guys? What does that mean? Your implied gender? What does that mean? Are you going to, if I'm actually a guy pretending to be a woman, are you going to treat me like I'm a woman? Or if I'm a woman pretending to be a guy, are you going to treat me like a guy? What does that mean? Gender identity or expression, national origin, medical condition, marital status, veteran status, payment source or ability, or any other basis prohibited by federal, state, or local law. That's what you're signing. That's what you're actually signing. Wendy says it's like Pelosi. She said, sign it so you can see what's in it. Yes, Pam says always get a paper copy of what you sign when even getting a test done, including the face page that includes your name and address, etc. Exactly. You want all the pages in the contract or the document, whatever it is, because your signature does matter. It's a monetary thing. You're the authorized representative of yourself or your strawman or whatever. And you need to make sure that you know what you're signing, because this is ridiculous that people are signing this stuff and they're continually signing this stuff, giving power to people that should not have power over you. You don't have to sign that first. You need to be coherent enough to be able to sign it. You need to be able to read it and ask questions. You need to be able to read it and say, I don't agree with that part. I have been now looking at every single thing, and I don't care about the huffiness of the person that's over there in the corner saying, I can't believe that we have to wait this long. I've got another appointment. I just can't believe it. I don't care. We're talking about my life here. We're talking about what can you do to me? It's me we're talking about here. We're not talking about you and your little whatever $15 an hour job or whatever you're doing. Okay, we're talking about my entire life here. That's kind of important to me, even if it's not important to you. That's why they shove a tablet at you instead of paperwork anymore. Yes. I remember as a child, my mother would read everything before signing anything. I was asked scheduling surgery what you identify as. What difference does it make what you identify as when you're knocked unconscious in surgery? You better treat me like whatever my gender actually is and not what I wish it to be. Yes, exactly. They can copy and paste your name now with a digital signature. When you sign over the date and all that kind of stuff, when you sign stuff, you need to sign over something so that they can't just copy and paste whatever it is that they want to anymore. It gets to the point where it's over the top. I can't say that on air. This comment over here on Rumble, I can't say that on the air. Funny, but I can't say it. So, yeah, it's a whole thing. I want to show you what David Straight said, though, about signatures. Because it is kind of important. And I don't know if I necessarily agree with everything that he says, but this is what he says about signatures. And this is where people get confused on the colors. And yeah, I think it's a thing, but it does make it. I don't ever sign in black anymore. Let's just put it that way. The transmitting utility, goods and services exchange. So the transmitting utility, people who are secured party creditors understand that the straw man is a transmitting utility in commerce, that when something is going on with another commercial entity, which is a thing, it's just a figment of your imagination. It's just a fictitious deal. The transmitting of energy between this and that, okay, is what they're talking about as a transmitting utility. The exchange of goods and services to a live human. That is, the document is in black and your signature is in blue. Okay. And it's signed on the left side of the page. The other one is heir, which is the trust, and you're the executor. I happen to be the executor of my stuff, and other people are the executor of their stuff. And this is how you would sign it. In purple, it's an autograph. It means you're living and you're the superior, actually. You're the superior. And when it has to do with land, titles, and rights, everything of equity, security, car, home, investment, gold, whatever, is in red. But it means mankind, womankind, alive, human on the right side. Line on the right of the page. Now, what I usually do is I sign my stuff in purple, and I put authorized representative, holder in due course, executor of the trust, whatever. Okay, whatever I need to put on there. I put my thumbprint in red. I sign over it in purple. Sometimes I'll sign it over in blue, but usually I sign it over in purple now. And I put my seal on there. Okay. So there's more to it than just signing something now. They can copy. Oh, yeah. Oh, so you see what I'm saying? I was reading a comment again. And my seal is right here. And I got this on Amazon for, I want to say under $30. Not very expensive. And it says that I'm the authorized representative. Yeah, this is the seal. Let me see if I can put it on a piece of paper so you can see it. I do that because I don't want anyone else if they copy and paste my signature, it's going to have that seal on there in black, because that's how it's going to come out if they try to copy it. So they can't really copy it if I have this seal on there. Okay. So let me see if I can show you the seal. Let me see if it will go up there. Do you see the seal? So if they try to put this on something else, it's going to do just like the copier. You know, when you copy a document and it's got this on there, it kind of shows in black because it's the shadow marks that are making it black. So they can't really copy and paste my signature on anything because I got my seal on there. So let's say that I just put my thumbprint on there with my signature and nothing else. They could maybe copy and paste that on something else. But when it has this seal on there, they cannot do that. Because any copy would already be, you'd know it's a copy. Because there's no way that they're going to be able to do it any other way. And it says, it has my name, okay? And around the top, it says all rights reserved. And then on the bottom, it says holder in due course. My name is in the middle, and it says trademark / copyright. Okay? Does that, I'm hoping that makes sense to you why you would want to put the seal on there, especially if it has to court with document, anything that's super important to you that you think might be something that you want to make sure the original stands. And I've been doing that. I bet you it's been a year now. Something like that. So I would get myself a seal. If you want to make sure that your documents are the documents that you actually signed, and they're not taking that document and putting it on something else, then that signature and trying to put it on something else, put that seal on there. I'm also going to tell you this, because this just happened to someone I know. And it happened, I've seen a YouTube video on this same exact thing happening as well, where you have a contract and they slip in more pages into the contract. This happened. Yes, it was a YouTube video where someone had gotten murdered, and they were saying that the person was murdered, but what happened is where there was some kind of a contract between the two people, the one who was dead and the one who was the murderer. And they had these pages of contract. Well, what happened actually is the murderer inserted pages into the contract, because on the bottom, they didn't have page 1 of 2, page 2 of 2, or anything like that. So they were able to get the signature on the last page, because they didn't even sign at the bottom of each page, which they should have done. Put initials on the bottom of each page, 1 of 2, or 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3. So when they put that contract, when they took it to pretend as if that was the actual contract, it was difficult to prove that additional pages were added after it was already signed. They were able to figure that out. But if you don't put on the bottom of your forms, whatever your letters and stuff, which I do that with all of them. I don't even care if it's going to the court, whatever it is. I put in there page 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3. That way they know that how many pages are in there. If I'm putting it into the court record, putting it into anything whatsoever, no one can tell me that there were additional pages in there. And then you have your signature on the bottom with your thumbprint, sign it. You can put your seal on it. If that seal isn't on that page, you didn't actually sign it. Oh boy. Pam says, I was tricked into signing away all of my Medicaid benefits by illegal trickery. Had to get a lawyer to fight and take 9 months to get all cleared up. What a mess. Oh boy. Yes. One of number of total pages. Yes, for anything anymore. Yep, absolutely. You got to do it. Yeah, it's a seal like a notary public, but it protects your signature. Now, just so you know, notaries don't always have these seals anymore, and I think they should, because now you could take a notary's seal, because it's in black, right? You could take a notary's little stamp there and put it on a different document, right? Why couldn't you? When they had the seals, it was a lot better, because you cannot forge that. So I mean, when I became a notary in Colorado, I was like appalled that it was like that and not this. So I just really thought we would start here with the Freedom Workshop as your signature, so that you guys could actually see why it makes such a big difference on how you sign, why you sign, and what the UCC says about signatures. So, also had identity theft through the IRS that took 7 years to get cleared up. Pam, you're a target. That's crazy. All right, guys, that's it for the Freedom Workshop today. I'm going to post this over on my Freedom Workshop channel, and I hope you learned something. I hope you will read the contracts. I hope you will not blindly just sign away all your rights, sign away everything that you have. Make sure your signatures are actually on documents that you agree with. Go through, mark out paragraphs and say, I do not consent on whatever paragraph it is. If you don't get the services based on you taking out parts of the contract, well, then it wasn't a contract that you should be signing in the first place. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you on my regular show tomorrow.